Hello everybody and welcome back to Cities Skylines, where we are currently on a quest towards two things. One is profitability, and two is upgrading our avenues, because that is definitely something that we're going to need. Wow, that is a lot of medium density residential demand. Okay, let's see about doing something about that. I guess we could put it in up over here? Sure. So we can extend this straight on up through here. 89 and 180? Okay, that's apparently 90 and 90, but it definitely appears to be getting wider here. That's exciting stuff. Okay, let's try it from here. This definitely feels better. Better-ish. I guess we put it in like this. It's a little awkward, though. And then right here. Yeah, that's, I guess, reasonably fine. So as far as this out over here goes, this would eventually be like right here, right? So we know that this would go in like here-ish. I'd like to take these on over. So first things first, we're going to need a vertical measuring stick here, right? So I want something that goes over about like this so that we can take a look at what we've got going on here. Yeah. So 107 to 115, that's a little bit awkward here. But it would need to be something approximately like this. If we get it exactly at 90, we actually can't. So that's exciting. Yeah, very exciting. But this is exactly 90, so sure? Things end up getting a little awkward here. I think that's pretty clear. But that's not shocking, because we're going to need to extend this guy out too. That's not the reason why that's not shocking. The reason why that's not shocking is because things just generally get weird when we disrupt the grid pattern, right? So that's absolutely fine. I want to extend this up to here. And then I'd love to connect that in right on over here. We've, of course, got some overlapping items here, so we're going to need to do it something kind of like that and then bring it over. But that's fine. So we'll bring it in like so, and a couple more measuring sticks here are needed. I'm just going to bring these guys in to there. 105 meters? Oh, that'll be due to the, yeah, that's understood. This angle is not the way I wanted that to go. It's due to the width of the avenue is the reason why that's happening. Okay. So this was intended to go, I believe, here. Like that. And then this connects up like so. There we go. That's a little bit better. And now we have our measuring sticks over here, so we can bring this on in right there. Perfect. And then this one would go in approximately, come on, you can get to 90. There you go. Approximately there. Now over here, we're going to need another measuring stick. So I want to determine here. This would need to come down to here. And then this guy would go in right like that. So this gets very awkward indeed. And then this would go up to here. This is bent downwards because of space. This will eventually get fixed, but this was just done to make sure that we actually have the dam able to be put in here. So that's absolutely fine, no problem. Now we're going to put in some medium density housing over here. This is probably sufficient medium density housing, if I had to guess. So let's bump this up to speed 3, and we'll see how that goes. I don't know, they might actually want more. And there's low-density housing demand creeping up as well. I'm going to put in one more row of medium-density housing here. That should be sufficient there. And then we're going to put in some low-density up over here. I'm only going to put in one row of these for now. Low-density demand is still creeping up a bit. Okay. It's kind of on hold. We'll see what happens with that. So ambulance showing up here, waiting for a hearse. I think this is just traffic issues, to be honest. So I think that once we get our road upgrades done, that will definitely be a big fix there. But road upgrades are going to be a bit of a big deal. It's going to take some time. It's going to take some effort. So that's going to be, it's going to take a lot of money, really. That's really what it's going to take, is money. For now, I do want to get rid of some of these abandoned structures. What other abandoned structures do we have? One here, one here, one here. That all seems good for now. And then, of course, we've got, yeah, that's all fine for the moment. Okay, so that all looks good. The sun will be coming up here pretty soon. So that's fine for the moment. I do want, while we're here, well, we could extend this out. Or we could start work on some of these elevations. So what that would end up looking like is we would take this road out of here for now. And yes, this no longer has a connection. We would take this road out of here as well, at least up to there. And we would bring these and we would elevate them up. So we'd bring this out and we would elevate that up. That's now showing up as exceeds city limits. Intriguing. Well, we could definitely expand our city up here. Yeah, that's fine. We've got lots of land grants. So I'm going to buy these 3 tiles just to make sure that that's no longer an issue. And we are going to bring this guy out. I'm going to bring it 120 meters, but then we're going to bring it up like so. So we're elevating it, and then we're bringing that all the way on over, which at 180 degrees puts it here. But I want to have this be connected in here, and then 120 meters here as well, and we bring that up. Okay, so now these are going to connect together, and we'll just put that in like so. There we go. And then this one is going to be coming upwards. And of course, I want this to be on the lower level, and then 120 meters, and that's apparently sloped too steep. So we would have to put it in around here. That's quite a slope, I guess. Okay, sure. And then we would bring this guy on through and just link it up right. That's 179 degrees. Alternating between 179 degrees. Definitely not ideal there. Okay, let's try this from a different angle and see if this works. That's 180. That's 179. Okay. Gonna take this out of here. We're gonna do it another way. Specifically, the way that we're going to do it is by building it out this direction and seeing... Okay, that's showing as 91 degrees. Okay. What if we bring it out like so? Overlapping items. But not if we build it here. Okay. But that doesn't actually elevate it, right? That just gets us the road built here. So what I want to do now is I want to take these 2 sections out. And I want to set in this guy here-ish. Well, what I want to do is I want to elevate this, right? So 120 meters, that comes back as slope too steep again, which I'm not shocked by necessarily. Now, this is not going to be a problem later, but for now, we're just going to do that. And then we're going to connect this guy up over here. Now, this is lower, right? But I wanted to make sure that we were on the correct angle there. So now we extend this out 180 degrees. It's trying to go to 179, but there we go. That's 180. Cool. Okay. So we can do something kind of like that. Now, this college, of course, is going to need to be moved. And we can keep this area over here for it. We can relocate it to be somewhere like here instead. And yeah, that's expensive. But we'll do that for now. And that's the reason why I'm saying this whole process is going to be tremendously expensive. So we're just going to bring this on in over here like that. Okay, so that gets us that section upgraded. It's a lot. There's going to be a lot of issues here. But it gets us a step on the way. Perfect. So we're currently at minus about 3,000. As our population grows, this should be reasonably fine. I'm keeping an eye on our demand over here for housing, and it looks like we do have more demand for residential. So we'll put a little bit more of both medium and low density housing in. That'll be fine for now. I didn't get these out over here. There we go. So something like that will do for the moment.
That gives me the creep.
That's a wild overstatement.
What do we got going on down over here?
Did you say
Oh, these are ambulances. I see. Gotcha. So we've got a couple of ambulances dispatched. Yeah, that's all looking good. We're definitely having some waiting for a hearse issues. And I think that our biggest street that we need to upgrade is Cedar Street here. I think we upgrade this one, and that fixes a lot of our issues. It's going to create some issues, no doubt about it. But I think that that will definitely help a lot. We should probably move this guy over to here, which I will do. Checking in on the rest of all of this over here. There's maybe going to be some issues with road frontage, particularly on our crematorium and our power plants. We can move the crematorium right now. That would be 75,000. Okay. Can we cram that in somewhere over this way? 75K? Yeah, let's do it. Okay, so we're going to move the crematorium right now. The coal power plants, those are going to be pretty expensive to move. 24,000? Oh, that's actually not as much as I expected them to be. Okay. So that's noted. This coal power plant, they need to have particular frontage, right? So they're not square, they're rectangular, and they have to be facing the long way for the road. So I'm going to put this one over here for now. I'm going to migrate this one to be here for now. That will allow us to move the incineration plant. This is going to be the big expenditure here, 250,000. But that gets that off of Cedar Street. Now that's a big part of our expenditure here done. This is still going to be very disruptive. And that's understood. So for now, what we're going to do is we're going to take out all of this stuff. Yes, this is going to be incredibly, incredibly disruptive here. So this entire street is getting removed for the time being. Up to here. And we're going to do something like that, because I want this to be elevated as well. So we're going to do this entire avenue, and that is, of course, going to be heading out from here. I want to make sure we're on the right elevation. Looks like we are. And we're going to just extend this on out. And I want to just make sure that this is straight. And we're just going to put this right on in like so. This does not need to have a roundabout at this time, and I'm going to remove that. There we go. And we're going to need to do a few more of those. We're going to need to continue to remove those roundabouts. But for now, we're going to move these on up. Yeah, we're going to have some road frontage issues. No doubt about that. This roundabout will need to be removed. So we'll get that out of there. Once we get this side street updated, we'll rebuild the roundabout, but for now, that's not going to be a thing. Overlapping items here. What is our current altitude? Okay, noted. Hang on. I want to get into... Yeah, so this is working fine. I don't know why it was saying overlapping items. It's not actually overlapping. And I don't want this to be off of 180 degrees. So we're just going to continue to push through here. I feel like we've drifted. I definitely feel like we've drifted on this. I'm going to backtrack on this one. We're going to have to be a little bit more careful. Okay, so let's make sure that we are... Yeah, this is looking dead on here. So I want to make sure that these are at 180. I'm just going to do these one block at a time for purposes of ensuring here that we are exactly where we want to be. This has to be correct. So we're going to bring this up. Yeah, this is much better. So then we come up to here. This, of course, we want to eliminate the roundabout here. This is not necessary for now. And we do lack a significant amount of ways to get on and off of this road, right? And that's definitely a thing that we lack at this juncture. I want to bring this guy in to here, and then we would link that up like so. And then this would get connected here. We can definitely do a roundabout here. Like that. Okay, so that's Cedar Street broadly updated here. We're going to need to eliminate these that had frontage on the avenue. Ultimately, they shouldn't have frontage on the avenue. We are going to need to rework a fair amount of this, right? And that'll open up a lot of zoning. So we're going to be going backwards for a little bit here. That is fully expected. And, oh, I didn't mean to get rid of that one. That was fully expected, and this is part of the reason why we want to do this piecemeal and not all at once. It's going to be a big project, and it's going to be a very disruptive one. So this is going to definitely be bad for our population in terms of immediacy. But in the long term, this will be a significant improvement. Now, we need to think about on and off ramps for this. How do we want those to work? Well, for the moment, we could simply do something kind of like this, right? And this would need to go up a level. Crosswalks on that? That's exciting. Okay, so that's giving invalid shape if we want to bring it out like this. That slope too steep. This is actually... Hang on, was that a viable option? No, that's invalid shape. Okay, so this is probably going to have to come out over this direction-ish. That's a valid option there. Okay, so that's an on-ramp, and then we could do an off-ramp over here. Now, I definitely do not want a stoplight here. And I don't want pedestrian crossings either. Pedestrians are basically not allowed up here. And so we're going to have to remove the pedestrian crossings. And as far as the stoplights go, I want to fully remove those. So this is currently a yield sign. And I don't see any signage out over here. What is this? That's a speed limit. Okay. That actually seems ideal. Okay, so obviously we're going to need ways to get on and off of this, right? But that's going to be a lot of manual work. No doubt about that. We would need to bring this, like, down over here. I think that's about right in terms of its angling. So this would be an on-ramp, and then this would be an off-ramp. We would not do any of them in blocks that have a roundabout. There is going to be a lot of wasted real estate down here. Checking in on this, I'm not sure about all that. There's some zoning that can happen underneath this, which is fascinating. So we would end up doing zoning kind of like that, which, you know, is kind of wild. No doubt about that one. That is kind of wild. How we overwrote some of this zoning over here. I guess that's fine for now. So this would be very interesting indeed. I did not expect to be able to zone under this. I don't know how usable any of this is actually going to be. I would guess not very. But sure, I guess we can zone everything under here if it can be zoned. Some of it can, it seems. Cool. Now then. as far as the off-ramp situation here goes. Yeah, there are pedestrians up here, which is exciting. I don't want there to be pedestrians up here ultimately, so we may want to consider changing these to a different road type. Once we have something like highways unlocked, we may want to do that right now, in fact. So we can unlock highways, and we may want to consider upgrading these to highways. So that would end up being... So this is a 4-lane, 2-way highway. This would be basically exactly what we'd be looking to have. And that would actually refund us some. So that's definitely interesting. That was not what I intended to upgrade there. We'll come back to that. So I just want to upgrade all of this for now. It's a little hard to see in this mode, to be honest. But there we go. This is not going to have sidewalk, and it's going to be about the same width overall. But yeah, something kind of like that. So that will hopefully mean that we have better defaults on our intersections. That would be certainly ideal. So then this down here, I'm wondering... This must be intended to be on-ramp. Okay, and then this would go like here-ish. I'm going to actually delete this one, and we'll try to rebuild it. So that would end up meaning I don't want to be in the upgrade tool right now. I want to be up around here or so. And we're going to need to be... I wish this was not transparent like this. It's kind of hard to see, to be honest, because of the zoning. Okay. So if we were to bring this up to about here, right? And then bring this down. That slope too steep there. This actually works. Remarkable. If that's the case, if that actually works, then I'm going to take this out of here. Now, these are considered highways, and they're not really considered on-ramps. So I'm wondering if there are perhaps other on-ramps for us elsewhere. I mean, there's a 1-lane, 1-way road. 500 per kilometer. Actually, this is significantly cheaper. So, in theory, this should be able to be built up to here, but it's actually not. So these are not going to end up being very symmetrical, I suspect. This would be pretty ideal right here. That slope too steep, and that's definitely something that we're going to have to tackle. This is something that City Skylines 1 also did, which was a lot of these were pretty complicated to make. But something like that kind of works. Kind of works. I'm not sure exactly what we've got going on here. So I think this is a little too tight in. This is going to take some practice, and that's okay. So really, we might want to have it be coming from like up over here, and then just go directly to here. That might be the best way to handle it. Overlapping items.
On to our main feature story. The commercial district is booming.
It allows us to do
as
this,
the area
though.
is attracting more high-end stores, bringing the
Okay,
latest
what does
in
that look
luxury
like?
to our neighborhood. You can now shop for
It looks
designer
bizarre.
shoes while sipping a fancy local Jarva mate, or so my wife tells me. That's good for business.
I feel like maybe
and
this is not the
good
way
for
this is
community.
supposed to look.
Thanks, Jim. We'll be back after this.
Yeah, I think that
Local
this is
stargazers
just too
are
close
in
in.
for a real
I
treat
think that's the
tonight
core
as
issue
the
here.
aurora
So
borealis
that's
is expected to
fine.
light
We
up
can
the night
definitely bring
sky.
it further
That's
out.
right, Jim.
So
Don't
bring
forget
this
to look
up and then
soon.
have it
It
be
promises to be
connecting like out over
wonderful.
here, right? So it would end up connecting, say, here instead. I would prefer it to be like here, but I think like here. And then this one would be connecting basically the same way, except it would want to come up over here. That's giving a slope too steep. I want to bring that up, though, and... yeah, it's going to be a little bit of a tedious thing, much like in City Skylines 1. But let's see what that ends up looking like. Oh, this is built up high. Sure. So this is currently an off-ramp. I want to change the directionality of it, and can we do that like in City Skylines 1? We can't just flip the direction like in Cities 1. There's probably a way to do it. We would use the upgrade tool and right-click in City Skylines 1. Ah, click and drag in City Skylines 2. Got it. So that's fine. We can definitely work with that. And at this point, that's an on-ramp. I want this to be an off-ramp going down over here. Invalid shape. This technically works. Does it break the highway? It does not. So that, I think, is reasonable. It's not perfectly symmetrical. I don't think we're ever going to get it perfectly symmetrical. Well, we might here and there, but we can't consistently do that, I think. We could try to move this in one block here. I don't know how viable it is. Every single one is going to be slightly different, right? And the reason every single one is going to be slightly different is going to be... That actually might work there. But it kind of breaks it. Okay. The reason every single one is going to be slightly different is because the terrain underneath it is slightly different. And that's fine. We can just bring this up like so. That's... We still have these issues here. No, I don't like it. So let's try the curve tool and see if this works better. So if we have the curve tool and we bring this out like 90 degrees, right? And then we curve it down like this. That, I think, is probably the way to go. Probably. Now, we're going to have to make sure that these are... I don't know. That doesn't feel perfect to me. But we're going to have to make sure that these are working correctly. Currently, these lanes are very strange. Indeed. These lanes are very, very strange. We don't want to be able to turn here. Right, we're going to have to change the laning. And the question is, how do we go about doing that? So for now, I'm just going to connect this in here, I think. And yeah, these are currently dead-ended because we want this to, in the upgrade tool, be turned around. Like that. Okay, so this goes up and goes like this. I do not want to allow a turn here. So the question is, can we prevent that? Maybe. I don't want to allow this turn either. It is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and next episode, we're going to be experimenting with on-ramps and seeing if we can figure out if we can get these exactly the way we want them. I'm interested in changing these turn lanes. That may or may not be a possibility. I don't know. We'll look into that for sure. I'm also maybe interested in adding sound barriers to some of these. Indeed. So that's all definitely going to be interesting too. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Shadow Wolf, Andy McGar, Spartan News, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Soccerman12 UK, Kentogan, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.